A couple months ago, I discovered that my ex-husband, Peter Matt, who is a financial criminal, appears to have opened a company in my name about 17 years ago. I discovered it because I'm trying to stay alive by doing freelance work. I've done accounting before, so I logged back into Quickbooks. Intuit was just giving me trouble for months, allowing me to access any Intuit products. And then when I finally was able to log in, it was really weird. There was this company here that I don't have any recollection of, and it's called MAS, Mace, which is like my name, Megan Mason, M Mace, California Inc. And they have QuickBooks Online, Books Online Payment, which means, and this is what's interesting, when I go into the company, it's active, and somebody paid an invoice as recently as, I think, 2025 for $1,200. So somebody is using this company associated with my name. And so as I was digging, this company, or the QuickBooks profile, is in Los Angeles. And I looked up the routing number. The routing number is for a Citibank number. My ex-husband, Peter Matt, was an associate at Citibank when I met him. I was teaching kindergarten in Harlem when I met him, and he was an associate at Citibank in New York. And my ex-husband is a German national who is wealthy and had money that he represented to me to come from a wealthy aunt's banking career. His father is also a wealthy executive. He was on the board of Winkler Nixdorf when it was purchased by Siemens, and I think he was also on the Siemens board or had a good job there. So my ex-husband, the reason I'm an IRS whistleblower against him, well, the reason I reported him was he was abusing my sons, but the reason I had evidence with which to report him is because he manipulates people into laundering money for him. He usually, back when interest rates were low, it'd be like, oh, I can get you really good interest rates, you just loan me money. And then his dad makes loan payments from Germany, under a threshold to raise any confusion, and oh, it's a payment on a loan, and that's it's called layering in money laundering. So that's why I would guess that somebody took the time to pay $1,200 a month for QuickBooks payments. That's just my guess. So as soon as I saw this company, I called Intuit. They said they wouldn't remove the company from my account. I began looking at it. Oh, and this is from the contact information in the QuickBooks profile is an attorney named Peter Gellis, who's in Los Angeles. And at the time when this company, so from the MAS California Inc., it was opened in February of 2009. I was living in Orange County, California in February 2009, as was Peter. He was working at an investment bank in Costa Mesa until he was fired in December of 2008. I do remember that he sold a bunch of stock and he was moving money around because when he was fired, he said, oh, my plan all along was to buy a business. He'd never told me that before. And then he was like, yeah, I have to start selling stock. And I remember a lot of the details because he'd been fired and he was getting severance pay. He didn't want to be named as an employee. So he wanted me to be the main and only paid employee for Godecki and Associates. And I think that was also just part of a way to keep his name actually off of instruments, because I think it was, I think all along, a lot of aspects of my marriage and that business were from laundering money. I just had no idea at the time. So then when I saw this attorney, Peter Gellis, I tried to call him. It doesn't seem like this firm is still active. I did find a picture of him somewhere, LinkedIn maybe, and he looked vaguely familiar. A place I might have met him, we used to go to a lot of European business mixers, so German and Swiss and French bankers and executives around LA and Orange County, and he just looked familiar to me. I looked to see what other payments were made. So the payments were made for this QuickBooks payment account, and they're associated with a man named Thomas Giordano, who, like Peter Gallus, is an attorney. In QuickBooks, his name is associated with another firm. This is the firm he's at now. I called and he did speak to me. Mr. Giordano expressed to me that he didn't know anything about this company, didn't know anything about me, didn't know anything about the QuickBooks, even though I would later find his name is the only other prime user on the QuickBooks. I did notice he's sworn in federal district court, which he's a tax lawyer. That's usually a state attorneys just do state law. They don't do a lot of federal law. I just, I'm a little squirrely that way. I notice when people are sworn into district courts because I'm always thinking people are working for the feds. So then I looked at the rest of the bills. To me, I owned a bookkeeping business with staffers in the Philippines. They look kind of like Filipino names. That's just a guess. I tried looking the people up online on LinkedIn. I couldn't find anyone. Oh, Carlin Peoples is the firm that Thomas Giordano's name is associated with in this QuickBooks, and now he's at this other firm. And then more payments for just the software. But it's serving a purpose to somebody enough to pay $1,200 through these law firms. So then I looked at the other users. Thomas Giordano at carlinpeoples.com. He's no longer there. So whoever's using that email is not Thomas Giordano. And then these other individuals. I was able to remove everybody but myself and Thomas Giordano. So this is the other weird thing, which is why Intuit drives me insane. I can't remove my email from this account, and I can't remove this company from my profile, but I can't log in and actually use QuickBooks. So it says I'm an admin, but I'm not actually an admin. Okay, I've gotten into exchanges with emails and phone calls with a very well-trained person, because I've been on hold with less well-trained people for months at Intuit. And I got somebody for some reason from the office of the president got back to me because I was sending them notes on the request for subpoena or whatever to talk to the lawyers and explain my situation. And that my ex-husband is involved in financial crimes, and I see this company, I don't want it to have anything to do with me. I want to delete everything. Here's my problem. This is what the lady, you're looking at what I'm looking at. The lady at Intuit is like, you stopped using your QuickBooks account in 2016, so you don't have that account. And I'm like, that's fine. I just want my email address. The email that's on this other account that I don't use. She said, yeah, but your QuickBooks account closed in 2016, so you can't use that account, and we can't make you a new account because there's this other company that I guess doesn't exist. Anyway, so I still can't use QuickBooks, and this company with my email is in there, and Intuit won't help me. I think it's because somebody else wants that information in there. So Mr. Giordano and I are the only listed users. Mr. Giordano says he's not using it. I called and spoke to him, and I attempted to delete all the users. I attempted to disable all the accounts because I don't want people spending money in my name. And then I started looking at this Mass California Inc. I did a California record search. That's how I found out when it was formed on February 17th, 2009. And in addition to Mr. Giordano, there was a Ms. Maria Soledad Otero. And these are the documents to open the business. Looks like a David Wynn opened it. And then a statement of information from a Scott Onash. And I looked them both up. They looked like law firm employees. And an Erlinda Rodriguez. So I called and spoke to Ms. Maria Otero. Actually I called, left a message, and then she called me from a non-law firm phone number. And she said that the company Mass California Inc. is a real company, but has nothing to do with me. It's just a coincidence. And I told her, well, I don't want anything to do with it, so to please have them remove me. And she said, well, I shouldn't be there. And I said, well, it's your company, not mine. But again, I don't believe her. I looked at Ms. Otero's background. She was also in Los Angeles area at the same time my ex-husband was. And she specializes in international banking, including in Switzerland. My ex-husband and his father, Leo Matt, and his brother, Thomas Matt, what was the year? I think it was like 2005 or 2006. The U.S. kind of changed its policy about Swiss bank accounts, and there was some amnesty. So sometimes when countries do things like that, others follow. So Germany followed. So Peter and his dad and his brother had cash accounts in Austria. I don't know why Austria, but I guess they're similar to Switzerland. And they might have also had accounts in Switzerland. But the point is, it's just quite a coincidence that a company with my name was put into Quickbooks, is associated with my email and my married name. And my ex-husband is a tax criminal, and I'm an IRS whistleblower, and Quickbooks won't remove him from my account. And Maria Otero says that it has nothing to do with me. So I don't believe her. Just again, because the routing number for this company in Quickbooks is Citibank, Germany. I think it's a pretty big coincidence. My ex-husband is a wealthy German who worked at Citibank. And I remember, because he's a lazy wealthy German. So when the shares needed to be sold to have cash to buy business, I think I'm the one who sold them. So I remember, if I weren't a minimalist, maybe I would have the account somewhere. So I don't believe Ms. Otero. I do think that my ex-husband probably opened another company. I think he probably opened a lot of companies in my name. For example, like when we opened a company in India and a bank account in India, I think I must have signed 100 documents, because you have to like sign it over again. And if your signature doesn't match, they'll send it back to you. It took a lot of work to get my name onto everything we own in India. And then when I'm divorced, Peter has never sent me anything asking me to take my name off of anything. So I don't fly to India. And I was able to copy my married signature off the public filings in the California record search. And that's something my ex-husband definitely did on many occasions. So it's really frustrating. I realized my ex-husband was a mess, if not a criminal, when I was pregnant with my second son in 2012. And I extricated myself from his crimes, and I'm still being dragged down by him, and he's just living his best life. So I don't get it. If anybody knows these people, if anybody can help Intuit to stop blocking me from using my account so that they can have a fraudulent business in my name, I'd appreciate it.